It's the April rose that only grows in the early spring. Love is nature's
Love is a many splendid thing. Thank you, Robert, for playing that for the meditation today. Love is a reason to be living. It's everything. And what I know about that is, it's really important to us. We sing about it. We write about it. We make movies about it. We paint pictures about it. We try to pin it down, don't we? We try to make it make sense. And so I thought, wow, wouldn't it be fun to do a talk that's nothing but snippets of music talking about what love is. Well, I didn't do it, but it was a thought. And so I started kind of running through love songs in my mind, and I'm thinking, well, love hurts. Love is like a butterfly. There's this crazy little thing called love. You've lost that love and feeling. How many of us have been there? Looking in all the wrong places, looking for love in all the wrong places. What's love got to do with it? Love makes the world go round. Love is an open door. Well, actually, I could probably fill up my 15 minutes with all of those titles of songs. But the reason that it's important to me is that, you know what? Love's all of it, isn't it? Just by the virtue of the lyrics of songs, we get that it's very complex. It's very complicated, right? There are many kinds of ideas around what love is. You know, as I was listening to the song that Glenda picked before our talks started this morning, I thought, I want to be the one that brings forth the I can hear you. Everybody wants to be understood. And I want to cultivate the capacity in my life to say, I can hear you. I love you. I'm the one. Because most of us associate love with the other, don't we? Something else. We love nature. We love each other. We love our families. We love our friends. Right? Most of us, and it's Valentine's Day, think in terms of romance when we think about love. And if you've reached a point in your life where you don't have a Valentine, it can feel kind of weird. Is that the truth? I know this morning as you came in, Glenda made cute Valentines for you, and we handed out little hearts that Debbie Riddick gave to us to hand out. And guess what? Some people were saying, oh, it's Valentine's Day? Oh, is it that time of the year already again? We forget about these things, see? So we have this capacity to be in touch with this idea of love. And what I'm going to talk about this morning is not romantic love, not emotional love, not love that depends on someone or something else. I'm going to talk about conscious love. What is conscious love? Conscious love to me is that no matter what kind of love. Conscious love to me is that expression. You know, Eric Butterworth says, we are the activity of the allness of God expressing. That's what I'm going to talk about, this idea that we bring forth this energy. See, love is just an energy. We know what it feels like, don't we? And boy, do we ever know what it feels like when it's not there. When somebody is extending the opposite of love to us, we feel it, don't we? We know what that feels like. And we know what it feels like when we're the one doing it in our experience, you see. This divine love that I'm going to talk about, this sacred love, is selfless, and it has the capacity to love no matter what. Doesn't require anything or anybody specifically. It includes and incorporates and embraces everyone and everything. It's the quality of the divine that is expressing through us. That's the kind of love that I'm going to talk about. You know, I remember a few years ago, what was that lady's name? The lady that Unity, Johnny Coleman. She said, I got news for you. God doesn't love you. You go, what? She says, I got news for you. God does not love you. And I went, what? This is weird. She's a Unity minister, Unity teacher, very, well connected in that movement. And I thought, what do you mean God doesn't love me? And she said, nope, God is love. God doesn't love me. God is love. God is love. I am love. You are love. That's a big shift, folks. That's a big shift. Because when we don't have to worry about whether or not we're lovable, our concept of who we really are shifts, doesn't it? We're always capable of being loved. We're always perfect and divine. We are that, you see? God doesn't love us. And you know what? We don't need anybody else to love us either if we are loving ourselves and bringing forth the love. Because we've sort of put ourselves in a resonant field of love. And then whether somebody is loving toward us or not doesn't matter. We can bring, it's all about what we do. We bring forth that no matter what kind of love in that experience. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. Most of my life, this is easy. There are some areas where it's not so easy to bring that no matter what kind of love into place. It's what we talked about in the meditation. We have to be willing to work on those areas. It's that vibration. It's very hard to define. Love is an energy, and it's simple. But you know what? In my life, love is not easy because it requires us to be very allowing, to be very embracing, to be very accepting, to have this huge, noble heart that allows all of it to be as it is, to be impartial, and to love no matter what. So in our family, we have a brand new boxer puppy. Now he's 10 weeks old. Guess what? That puppy doesn't know about yet. That puppy doesn't know about going outside to do his business. And so, I was thinking about this. This puppy, wherever he goes, does whatever he wants, right? And if I got angry and withheld my loving energy every time I was running around with a piece of paper towel and a septic wipe to clean up the mess, I would not be bringing forth that no matter what kind of love. And guess what? When I don't love the puppy, then everybody else gets nervous. My daughter gets nervous, my granddaughter gets nervous, my husband gets nervous. The resonant fields, I hope I'm making sense, the resonant field of love is disturbed. Does that make sense? If I'm not loving because the puppy pees on the floor and I gotta clean it up, then there's a trickle-down effect. There's a trickle-over effect. Everybody feels the withdrawal, the pullback of the love. So my job, I walked out in the den this morning and I said, oh, that's where the puppy went last night. We were looking for that. And my husband said, why are you so calm? And I said, well, why not? What good is it going to do for me to get hysterical and clean up the puppy mess? It doesn't make a difference. It's there. All I have to do is clean it up. It would just create this field that's not that peace, not that love, not that kindness. Do you know what I'm talking about? So when I let the energy of love sort of fuel everything I do in my life experience, you know what? It helps me reveal that Judy that Glenda was talking about in that Bible verse. It helps the real me show up. It helps the real me show up, you see? When I can sort of embrace all of the wonderful things in the world, which is this puppy is just beautiful, and the woes of cleaning up after him, when I can embrace it all, my heart's awake. When I can feel it all and embrace it the same way, so this allows me to embrace human beings in the same way. It allows me to see the news in the same way, and that's not easy. That's not easy. But if I go into fear and if I go into judgment, if I'm not able to go, you know what, I can bring love to this situation no matter what. I can be loving in this situation no matter what. And the way I can be loving is not being judgmental. The way I'm loving is not, withholding my acceptance of the isness of the experience. And so I really like this idea that if I'm looking for love, all I have to do is be loving. All I have to do is be that love embodied. I don't have to go out there to find it anywhere. Because Mother Teresa says that the primary spiritual goal that all of us have, our job, is to learn how to love and how to love well. To be that. To be that. To be it, to live it, to allow it to move itself through us, no matter how it shows up. That's why I picked this PowerPoint up here. This idea that no matter what, we see through the eyes of love. No matter what. You know, I kind of take a little risk here sharing this openly in this group. I've shared it in other groups, but I want to share with you. Seeing through the eyes of love is a very difficult challenge. I talked about the news. One of my most profound experiences of understanding what real love is about, this sort of conscious love, this divine love, not romantic, not emotional, but this conscious love. Do you remember the Boston bombing that happened, the marathon bombing? That was a difficult experience for our country, for the world, yes. And when I saw the eyes of the young man that survived, that did this, something happened to me. My eyes locked onto this young man's eyes. I thought, oh my gosh, this kid's about the same age as my grandson. Oh my gosh, this kid is so unskillful. Oh my gosh, and my heart opened wide. Beyond all judgment, no matter what, there was a connection there that stunned me. My human self wanted to judge it. My human self wanted to make this really bad. Don't get me wrong, this was a very unskillful thing. It wasn't a good thing. But at the level of the soul and at the level of conscious love, that experience showed me I can move beyond my concepts, beyond the solidity of the experience, and see through with the soft, deep eyes of love, the soul of that being. Because you know what? If I truly believe what I teach, and I do teach this, we've all got the same amount of God stuff in us. Even that kid that did that thing. And when I've got the capacity to see that, something shifts. I hope I'm making it myself clear. Something shifts. And so really, no matter what, there's no insignificant act of love. That experience for me was profound. It gave me a new way to see a lot of things. It gave me a new way to be present with a lot of things. It stunned me that that could happen in that experience. So what does it look like? Well, you know what? I started thinking about this idea and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm afraid I'm not doing a very good job being loving all the time, no matter what. Because I've got a lot of areas in my life where I'm judgmental, a lot of areas of my life where I've got some people that I don't really like that much, where I, kind of would like them not in my life, you know what I mean? I've got to be honest. So I think, you know what, I'm not measuring up. How can I get up here and talk about conscious love when I feel like myself, I'm not exactly measuring up 100% of the time? Well, here's the good news. We don't have to measure up 100% of the time. We just have to have an intention to be present and give it a shot, do our best. And when we find ourselves not doing that, we just do it, we make another choice. We try over again. I'm not the Dalai Lama. I am not Mother Teresa. I am not the Buddha, and I am not Jesus. I am Judy, and I'm in human experience, and I'm trying to bring forth as much divinity as I can in the moment. And so I take comfort in what Lama Surya Das says in his little book, The Big Questions. He says, there's a whole chapter, what is love and how do I do it and how do I find it? And so here's a checklist. And if you have any feeling in your own experience that you're not quite measuring up, or maybe you're not loving enough, or whatever that is, kind of like I do, like, I'm not making the mark. Here's a checklist, and I want you to listen to what he says love is about, because I read this checklist and I thought, you know what, doggone, I'm doing pretty good. So here's a checklist. Love is unselfish. Love is generous. Love is patient. Love is tolerant. And love is accepting. Most of the time. Love is respectful. Love is honoring. Love is supportive. Love is honest. Love is truthful. Love is compassionate. And love is caring. Love doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows how to play. It knows how to find awe and wonder in this human journey. And it knows how to take delight in being alive in the present moment. It knows how to appreciate life. It knows how to look at the stars and wonder. It knows how to be fully present with one another. It's open to the mystery. It doesn't have to know everything. It doesn't have to know everything. And you know what? Just like Linda said, it recognizes our oneness. It recognizes we're all in this thing together. It recognizes that we're all one at the core of our beingness. And so if you marked off a lot of these, hey, you're on your way. You're on your way. And if you have some areas where you said, maybe not that, or in my case, well, maybe not for that person, all you got to do is spend time with that and set an intention around it. So here's your invitation. All you got to do is ask yourself, how well have I loved? How well have I shown up being a loving presence? And you know what? I'll bet you'll see that you're doing pretty well. Remember, love is a many, many splendored thing. It comes in many forms. But when we tap into that conscious love, it leads us beyond our human experience into that energy of who we really are, that divine self. God is love, and so am I, and so are you. And we just need to express it, to embody it, and to be it in our walk in the world. Thank you for listening. So this morning, we hope that you have heard something, seen something, felt something.